Hello, welcome back to Sushi Live Coding. In this episode, I will be showing you how to turn motion capture data, which is just armature and bones, into something that can be rendered like 3D mesh. I'll be using Spreadshock nodes, but you can also use animation nodes. So let's get started. Just import FBX. This one is from Mixamo, just a basic breakdancing animations, and it's only a few frames. And this is actually, it comes in a bundle and you can kind of mix and match the actions. So this is the animation. I'm gonna save this very quickly. So armature mesh, and basically Spreadshock and animation nodes have a node that dealing with armature. With Spreadshock, it's just the ability to grab the rest position and then turning it into kind of like a mesh data that you can play around with. And the secret here is simply just to use list zip. You can actually observe the data first of all. So we have the head. So this is a bunch of points representing the character and the tail. So apparently it's quite large. If I select this object and oh yeah, this is Mixamo tends to give you this somehow like scaled armature. Maybe I should just apply the armature. Oh, so I cannot scale it to 1. It's gonna be pretty large. And rotation, okay, all right. So the character, the resulting mesh will be down there. Anyway, so we have the head position, the middle relative between the head and tailbone. We're just gonna use the head and the tail. Just zip it into one data and then use it with UV connections and edges. So this is basically pretty much what we need. We probably need to connect some of the dots, but this actually can already work if you use a mesh join, for example, and just mesh viewer actually. You can merge here. So might need to unwrap. Sometimes this one doesn't like the edges data somehow. Okay, so in that case, mesh join is better. Bake. Okay, so we have this data and we can actually use something like skin modifier. And in this case, you want to have multiple root. And if you want to scale the radius, you can do that. So this can be rendered, and you can also simply rotate it and then bind it into this guy. But make sure the rotation is actually the same. So you see the rest pose and the animated bone is correct, so we can just parent it with automatic wait. So we should, okay, we should have, yeah, so it's at least working. So we can actually render this one. Sometimes you get that somehow. Maybe I need to apply the skin modifier before binding. Anyhow, that's one way to do it. You can also do a little bit more, like if you use bevel a curve and UV connection here. You want to connect this guy. Like this. And we should have a better control with the radius. We can cap the start and the end. And we can also take advantage of the length of the bone. So map, if we map range the length of the bone, we can plug this thing into the radius, and let's see how we can control this. So the area around the finger should be smaller. The legs is a bit long because it's longer joint. So let's reduce this number. Okay, so we can bake this out. Maybe mesh join it first and plug this in like that and hit bake. Actually here with the matrix we can rotate it first 90 degrees. So if we bake it now, bring the armature back and simply parent with automatic wait, we should have the character. If it's slow, that's because Spectrum is still calculating, so maybe just turn off everything here. Where is this? Turn off. Well, apparently it's still processing. It's interesting. There you go. So now we can render this character. So yeah, so the result is depending really on the bone itself, so the armature. But you can tweak this and make things like maybe you can try remeshing it. And you can displace it and then just remesh this area, and then you start sculpting, and then it's become like a character, even though it's basic and based on the bone. You can displace it. With noise. Maybe simplified. Yeah, something like that. So it's starting to look like some kind of character. Probably bake this. So you can render this out. Remesh might not work because it's not connecting. Some area might work. Should have applied the remesh before the armature, I think, but it should work in theory. Okay, so it's become a single mesh there, but this part is not connected. You can actually do this inside sphere job if you want to connect the bones and the lines. Just a quick ideas how you can turn this into mesh. If you actually use animation nodes actually have something similar. So it's called Armature info, and you can use the rest pose or the actual pose. Rest pose, there's matrices, center, directions, length that you can use to instance geometry, so you can render your armature bone as a 3D mesh. Alright, so yeah, this is just a recap of an old tutorial. I thought I might update it. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Hopefully this is useful, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.